Hello, hello. My name is Pia Prana, and I work and I'm passionately working with women who I call good girls, women who use the phoning trauma response in order to stay safe. And that meant that we learned to please and appease. And I also refer to that as good girl syndrome. And I recently did my Good Girls No More program, and I, where we were particularly, as the name represents, we particularly worked with the good girl syndrome. And when I said to the women in the group that first I started a bit softer, saying that, oh, good girls are inauthentic. But when I said that good girls lie a lot of the time, there was a lot of pushback and a bit of a shock. But as we went through the process, they realized, oh, maybe there is some truth to that. And so part of the role or the journey of the good girl is to cultivate relationships that are based on honesty and mutual respect and not hiding behind the smiles and the yeses when we want to say no, and fully agreeing when we're not in agreement. And, for myself, and I say that I am a recovering good girl. And in the past, I used to put a lot of effort into pleasing others, hoping to create an immediate connection. I used to put so much effort into charming others with my people pleasing ways. And the thing is, though, that I didn't really know what I was doing. It wasn't a conscious thing that I was doing. I would be warm and ask curious questions. And then I would always be the one listening. No, tell me more. I don't have to talk about me. And yet I was kind of pissed off that it was always about others and not me, not really realizing that it was all my orchestrating. So all this was, of course, hoping to be liked, to impress or find some common ground. But sometimes, despite my best efforts, people weren't really responding to me as warmly as I had expected. Maybe they were pleasant to me, sure, excuse me. But they didn't immediately warm to my curious questions and my warm demeanor. And I suppose many years later, when I started going in and started to feel myself much more deeply, and my system started speaking out loud and clear to me, that's when I really started realizing that I didn't consciously aim to manipulate these interactions. But people pleasers, we tend to charm and flatter to influence how other people perceive us. And by doing this, we actually manipulate the interaction, subtly influencing people's responses. And I'm saying this, first of all, as fessing up as somebody who's done this many times. But also, let me remind you that this is not something that we are doing to be unkind, like I said, a conscious manipulation. But this manipulation can hinder our ability to express our genuine thoughts and feelings. Because at the end of like I said to my group just a few weeks ago, at the end of the day, people pleasers aren't honest. But for me back then, I took the responses very personally, and I often felt maybe offended. And then I would really ruminate over what's going on? Why are they not liking me the way I was hoping they would? I noticed people were being distant, and I thought maybe they're being uninterested, when reality, they were simply reserved or not in a rush to forge deep connections as fast as I was pushing. Or if I go really much deeper, maybe they were sensing something inauthentic in the way that I was presenting myself. Maybe they felt that I wasn't being so real or authentic. And it was actually many years ago during one of these interactions that I understood something crucial. I wasn't putting on this warm facade out of kindness or for the benefit of others. It was all for me. Unknowingly, I had turned our interactions into transactions. And when they didn't reciprocate the way that I'd hoped, I sometimes would feel resentful. I would feel angry. Kind of like I was saying earlier about, I'm giving so much and they're just taking, right? Oh, the drama of it all. Sometimes actually feeling a bit of a victim. So this is the problem with people pleasing. We give so much hoping to get the same in return. But when others don't meet our expectations, we don't feel neutral about it. We feel bitter, we feel cheated, right? And boy, have I felt that many times in my people pleasing days, right? This like, why is it always me that's so kind and selfless? And so by imposing our expectations on others, we become focused on pleasing others. We tend to have certain expectations of how they should respond to us. We may assume that they should reciprocate our actions or fulfill our desires. And most of the time, they don't really know what we're looking for, right? Because we do all these things in sneaky ways when we're people pleasing. But in doing so, we disregard their individuality and their autonomy, expected them to conform to our expectations, perform at a drop of a hat, just kind of the way that many good girls do, totally unaware that we're doing it. So we turn others into kind of characters in our play or in our stories. And then we rarely build genuine and honest relationships on those kind of foundations. It's too loaded, too filled with our expectations. So once you decide to heal from the urge to please, and like me, that took a long time because there is a reason why we're pleasing and appeasing. Often it comes from trauma. It's a trauma response. It's called fawning. So it's a way to stay safe. But once you do decide to start healing, or as you start breaking free from these patterns of pleasing and appeasing, you may find yourself going through transition in your relationships and your friendships. Yeah. And what I've seen often is that people that are at the receiving end of people pleasing them, or at the receiving end of people that don't have personal boundaries, they don't want to rock the boat. That's quite convenient. But for those who want to have genuine connection with you, it really makes all the difference to move past this. However, those transitions can feel uncomfortable, maybe even nerve-wracking, or even heart-wrenching, because it's not just you that's going to feel uncomfortable, it's those that are used to you behaving in a certain way. However, for those of you who are on the path of becoming more authentic, coming back to who you are at your essence, relationships will offer unique opportunity for you to rediscover yourself and to come back home. So it's a really, really wonderful opportunity. So it becomes a chance to reclaim your authenticity, reclaiming beautiful relationships that are based on honesty, mutual respect, authenticity. And then you can really bring all of yourself. And then that invitation is then given to others as well as you shift into someone so much more authentic, willing to bring all of yourself. It may not always be easy, but it's certainly worth it, as I could attest to. So with that, I hope this has been useful for you. And I really invite you to write comments in below this video. Tell me what stood out for you or what triggered you, what was helpful, what was not helpful. Until the next video, from my heart to yours, wish you a beautiful rest of your day and your week. Bye for now.